From the 3-mile fictional iRacing Superspeedway in Chelmsford, Massachusetts, welcome to the 14th round of Turn Down for What Xfinity Series. Jordan Bain leading the field on the front row, your points leader, and North Carolina's repeat 1975 by my side. Pete, welcome to Chelmsford. Welcome to what is effectively the quarterfinal in this second season of Turn Down for What Xfinity.
Absolutely, Rick James. Glad to be here, buddy. Yeah, 3 very, very essential races to go. They've got iRacing Superspeedway tonight. It was a huge, stretched out, 3-mile long paperclip track, very much like Martinsville, but with a whole lot more banking than Daytona or Talladega could ever have. We're talking about speeds in excess of 240 miles per hour around this place. Rick, it's going to be a phenomenal race. These guys, they've been very, very good about the cautions, only about 2 as an average per race. We'll have to see if they can keep up with that or if they shatter it tonight. But man, it's going to be a phenomenal race. Glad that I'm here with you. These guys are about ready to take the green here, sir.
If you've recently joined us, I'm Rick James, repeat by my side, waiting for the flag to drop. The green is out at iRacing Superspeedway. They've crashed immediately. 3, 4, 5 cars involved. It looks like the start of the 96 US 500, but we stay green, racing into that first corner, Pete.
Yeah, it's going to be the 28 of Boehner, and the 99 of Blevins, too, is outside. There's still 2 by 2. It's going to be Shad Swatsworth, and then I believe that's going to be the 26 to his outside. Door to door, 2 rows deep, and the rest of the pack, it's not going to take long for them to file suit. The draft around this place is phenomenal.
227, 228, bottom right-hand corner of your screen. You're looking at Corey Blevins' current race leaders telemetry. 225, 231, going all over the place. Pete, here comes Jordan Bain using the slingshot on the outside. Shades of Tiburon Speedway from NASCAR Thunder 2003. Ford, Chevy, your top 3 after 1 lap.
Absolutely, and Rick, I sent out a tweet about this place earlier. I said it's kind of like a NASCAR 09 EA Sports game where speed comp was a thing if you had the special disc. And that is exactly what these guys are going to face all night long.
Down this back straight, positions are going to change all over the place. While we have a moment, let's see if we can just go back to the start of this one, Pete. They're jostling around, lest we miss a crash here. Going back to the start, all the way at the back here, you can see the 60 of Jeff No didn't go. Terry Radford gets turned around. There goes the 18 of Kurt Swatsworth. One more look from the 60 of Jeff No. It looked like he might have just spun the tires. He gets out of line. It's just a domino effect of one car checking up after another, and that's what started the calamity as Shad Swatsworth takes the point in the number 1 Budweiser Camaro.
Yeah, Shad able to get on up there, but it wasn't at the expense of no one. The 28 of Jordan Bain ended up with a little bit of contact and got sent to the infield. He was able to save it. One car not so lucky, and I believe that was going to be Hunter Peach. He's all the way in the back.
3 wide for the lead through turn number 3. Shad Swatsworth comes away at the front with that number 1 Budweiser Chevy. Blevins behind him, now looking to the outside. 3rd in line on the inside. That's now going to be Josh Arnold in that 2-2 Southern Beverage Company with his teammate right behind him, Enrique Quiñones, the New Jersey pilot. Crash behind him. One car already losing it, Pete, into turn number 1. Who was that? Was that the 71? Pete, who lost it?
Yep, it does look like that was the 71, and caution is going to go ahead and fly for the first time. Rick, we're 4 laps in. Jake Millsap, I believe, is actually going to be the car to go ahead and bring out the caution. And I don't see, so far, it doesn't look like anyone else was damaged right there.
Let's take a look. It looked like the 7-1 of J. Paul Arnold headed into this first corner. Jake Millsap in the 19 loses control of his car, slides right up into the wall. Look at everybody just avoiding him, Pete. One more look at a wider angle because that could have turned real ugly for Millsap. Look who avoids him, the 6 of Josh Franks. Looks like the 5 of Mike Allen also got under him as well, Pete. Let's take one more look from Mike Allen's view because that was nuts. Kind of stuff that you just think, really, are you in that moment? You know, it's almost like just your training just takes over.
Yeah, 230 miles barreling into the corner. Josh Frank's able to skirt way up high. Yeah, he did make a little bit of contact with that outside wall, but I don't think it caused too much of an issue for him. But Rick, I saw the one car with all kinds of damage in practice was still able to go 230 mile an hour in the draft. It's kind of like the Greg Biffle car of old back to Daytona many years back. I mean, he had plastic and tape and everything flapping all the way around that number 16 3M Ford at the time, and he was able to still keep that thing up there and keep it competitive. I think a few of these that may have got some incidental damage here will still be all right, won't have to burn that one fast repair that they've got just yet.
Got to give a shout out to the number 5 of Mike Allen, who avoided that crash right there. That earns a Cole Trickle move of the race for Mr. Mike Allen. Great skills in missing that crash. Allen coming down pit road in the 5, and you also got to give it up to Josh Franks in the 6 car. He also avoided that accident, and you know he's real happy about Georgia winning that national championship last night. So for AKA Expert Racing, Josh Franks, he also earns the Cole Trickle move of the race.
Ice cream!
I will look for any excuse to use that animation. I'm so glad we came to iRacing Superspeedway. I might just spill my drink by accident and catch it like Spider-Man and just say, hey, that's the Cole Trickle move of the race, and just use that right there.
There you go.
So Zach Meredith is leading. Everybody else is still down pit road. They're going to take their time, get everything they need to do to get done, and get racing once again. 6 laps underway of the scheduled 80. Fans at home, don't go anywhere. We're going to take a 60-second break and be back with more high-speed racing from the iRacing Superspeedway. This is Turned Down for What? Back to iRacing Superspeedway, the 3-mile paperclip, as Pete described it at the top of the show. Round 14 of 15 in this regular season, Pete, and then the 16th and final round, our championship final. It's getting down to the nitty-gritty, and the points, which we thought were going to be dominated and ran away with by Jordan Bain, he's only holding on to an 11-point gap headed into these final 3 races of the season. After this week, it's Bristol, then Charlotte to cap off the season and crown a champion.
Yeah, Jordan Bain tried a little bit of something last week with some fuel strategy. Didn't quite work out for him. Ended up finishing P15. So a whole lot of those, buffer points that he had out the window. And, J-Pa was able to capitalize, so was Hunter Peach and a few others. So he doesn't have quite the buffer that he had, but he still got the lead. I think I heard something about Jordan Bain possibly missing Bristol next week, and if that absolutely happens, J-Pa has claimed that as a track of his own, kind of like the way, kind of like what he did a few weeks back at Pocono. So we'll have to see how that all works out. And then, you absolutely nailed it on the head. Charlotte Motor Speedway to go ahead for the final. And then the All-Star schedule is actually being worked on.
Green flag once again in Chelmsford. 8 laps underway of the scheduled 80. Zach Meredith immediately to the lead in the number 17 Nationwide Chevrolet, Pete. A much happier start and more harmonious start for these drivers after that lap 1 crash. Single file out of 2.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised to see the 77 and Matt Cochran go to the far outside. No immediate help to go ahead and try to keep him up there and push him through. Or that could have been his plan. Maybe he didn't want to be on the back. Maybe he didn't want to be pushed. But the 99 of Blevins, he's going to sneak on by in that middle lane. And then, of course, there's the one of Shad Wadsworth in that number 1 Dale Jr. Budweiser throwback. But as you said, Zach Meredith at the point.
8 laps complete of the scheduled 80, 17, 99, 1. Your top 3 as they cross that line. 3 wide for the lead, Pete. We're going to see a lot of that. We got 1 car blinking in the back. Hopefully the internet connection holds out for them. 17 leading on that bottom row, but he is a sitting duck. Once again, on the bottom right-hand side, you'll see the speed of the driver we're looking at. Shad Swatsworth, 232 miles an hour into turn 3.
Oh, yeah, the guys in the back, they are turning much, much faster laps than that. Yo, Rick, you're talking about 3 wide for those guys. There are actually 6 lanes at this track that they can easily use up. Caution's out.
Yellow flag is out for the 2nd time today in 9 laps. Mike Campbell goes off the track. Let's see what happened to Papa Bear Campbell. Oh, heavy contact with the points leader, Pete. Jordan Bain making extremely heavy contact with Mike Campbell. Let's see what happened here with the points leader. Here he is coming up behind that 7-1 car, Pete, and they made contact of some sort. It looks like they're drafting here. And bump drafting into the corner, Pete. There it is. There it is, Pete. Bump drafting into turn number 3, and Papa Bear goes for a violent spin.
Yeah, it looked like Papa Bear kind of went up about a half a lane, and Jordan Bain was keeping it, cemented to the bottom. And when he kind of did wash up a little bit, he was under the left rear of Papa Bear, and that is all she wrote. From Boehner's view. Hard contact.
She wrote a lot. She wrote a lot indeed. Shad Swatsworth bringing the field down at 80 miles an hour down pit road during our 2nd caution. Zach Meredith in that number 17 car sitting in 2nd. Cole Snyder looks like he's going to take the lead down this front straight, Pete. Car 2-4 to the point under this yellow flag condition. Let's see if we can have a word with Mr. Snyder and see just what the 2-4 thinks of his chances to win tonight. Cole Snyder, Rick James, repeat 1975 in the booth. What you got?
Yeah, I got a fast car.
But can you hang on for another 70-plus laps, Cole?
That's all in God's hands. I'm just going to drive, and we're going to see what happens.
I'm glad you're having fun tonight, man. Let me ask you this. Driver of that 2-4, what is that, the Southern Beverage? Is that what it's called, the Southern Beverage Company?
It is, yes, it is.
Now, that is J-Paw's car, talking about Josh Arnold in that 22. That's the company he works for, isn't it? Something like that?
Just a sponsor that we got on board for our team. J-Paw got it for us, and we're just running it. We're just supporting some local beverage company out there in Louisiana.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Louisiana, you got the...
I think.
Is it Mississippi? Because it looks like you got the silhouette of Mississippi on your hood there, bud.
It might be Mississippi. I'm not sure. It's just on the hood.
One of those SEC states. They're doing pretty well from what I've heard.
That's right.
It's Mississippi. There we go.
Yeah. Let's go with that. A hybrid there. Pete, Cole Snyder's leading this race, man. You think he's got a shot to win it?
Oh, absolutely. I never ever discount anybody from the old J-Pop militia or the NAOR days or whatever. They all stick together like a band of wild thieves. stealing wins in the night. And, man, it's absolutely possible. Known Cole for quite a while, whether it's going back to the Dirty Mo days or right here with Turn Down for What or NNR, whatever. But I do got to tell you this, though, Rick. If you can get all those guys together, Snyder, Arnold, and Quinones, and the 17, Millsap, there we go, the 17, if you can get all those guys together in one big line, nobody's going to touch them.
Snyder, Pete the Goat says your team has the stuff to get it done. They've got the juice. Who's going to be your best drafting partner on the way to tonight's victory?
A car with a clean nose.
Name somebody. Come on. Give us the dirt.
I'm going to throw out my boy Enrique Quinones.
You got it, buddy. All right, we'll look for you and Q-Dog to hook up. Last question, buddy. What is your favorite thing to buy at the grocery store?
I'm in the snow, so bread and milk.
You know what? Bread and milk.
He's going to make some French toast.
It's simple. It's utilitarian. I love it. I absolutely love that simplicity. Hopefully, it propels you to victory, buddy. Best of luck, Cole.
Thanks, guys. Enjoy it.
We got to stop messing with these guys, Pete, because
I'll tell you.
On a track like this.
Yep, everybody's got to be able to make their French toast when it snows, Rick. It's a necessity.
That actually sounds really, really good. You know what? You know what's a good idea is a French toast food truck. I'm sure it's out there.
Ooh.
But if there's any French toast food trucks that just happen to like sim racing and are listening to this, give us a shout out. Let's talk sponsorship. Cole Snyder is going to lead Brad Rivers out of turn number 4 in this French toast 14th round of 15 in the regular season. Pete, we're coming to green. Snyder, Rivers, no. Terry, Radford, Josh Arnold, your top 5.
Absolutely. King Mather is out there in chat saying root on that 69. Well, the 69 Miller Lite Ford Mustang right now, starting P2, gets a great jump, stays right along with the 24. 24 just a little bit quicker on the gas. They thought about 3 wide going into turn number 1, but it looks like that 69 is going to be able to stay right there. Found a hole to fall into right in front of the 23 of, nope, that's not 23. It's actually going to be the... Who is that? That's a 60 of Terry Radford. Or Jeff No, rather. There we go.
Jeff No rocking the Mark Martin 60 colors to the outside, slingshotting. There's the beef in that number 60 Ford Mustang to the outside with that Miller Lite Ford to the inside and the Southern Beverage Company. What is that, a Chevy? That's a Chevy. To the inside leading this race. I love that 60, man. Just shades of Mark Martin. And for me growing up, watching the Busch Series, this car was one of my favorites.
Man, talking about a favorite, Jeff No almost had to change his Christmas list as the 69 came on up in front of him and decided to go on and duck back down while that hole was still there. It's funny, we're talking about a Miller Lite Ford Mustang, and right up above, those colors kind of remind me of the Rusty Wallace paint scheme back in the day, the old Harley Davidson paint scheme.
The 6-0 of Jeff No on the outside. 3 wide for the lead now. Contact No all the way to the high side. And he saves it. And he keeps it moving. Now just a perpetual 3 wide to his inside as the driver of the 6-0 Mustang keeps it pinned to the outside. Points leader Jordan Bain now to his inside, and that 2-8 has been roughed up. You can see just the dents, the dings, the misshapen sheet metal on that B-Water Ford Mustang, almost looking 3 wide. Speaking of throwbacks, how do you like a Joe Nemechek throwback? There's a wreck up ahead. 3, 4, 5 cars involved. Cars sailing over Jose Ruiz. Ruiz skidding to the inside now. Shad Swatsworth leading down the backstretch, and that multicolored Bell South Chevrolet gets dinged into by the 15 of Joshua Roberts. And, well, that's going to bring out caution number 3, and that's a big one if I do say so myself.
Absolutely, Rick. These guys went up the banking when they came back down. They weren't on the track. They were tumbling midair, and that collected just about the entire pack.
Sacktown's Jose Ruiz was involved in that one, I think. The 19 of Millsap also may have been involved. Points leader Jordan Bain just involved in that one again. He may have already used one fast repair here. Pete, you were saying he may not be present for next week's race. He only has an 11-point lead. Headed into tonight's event, this could be catastrophic for him. Matt Boone also involved in that one. The Wisconsin driver in pit road getting repairs to his number 38 Goodwrench Ford. Zach Meredith, Josh Roberts, Pete, a ton of drivers. Let's go back and have a look. That was insane.
Yeah, absolutely. For a second there, it kind of looked like pit road was just, it looked the same as when they were just, getting gridded up.
Look at that. The
Looks
24
like
of Cole Snyder. We were just talking to Cole. Not only does the curse of the commentator strike, but it gives him wings and he takes off. That 24 just flew. Let's have a look from Cole, well, at least on the outside, because people might be sick if they actually ride along with Cole Snyder on this one. This is nuts.
Whole lot of smoke.
So this is coming into turn number 1, so we can get a good angle here. The 69 is pushing. Now they're all drafting. 3 wide into turn number 1, which you expect to see. There's Matt Boone in the 38. He got involved here. And let's slow it down here. Let's slow it down. Okay, there it is. There it is, the 6.9, the 3.8, and look at that, Pete. That may have been netcode into the 2.4.
Yeah.
Let's
absolutely.
roll this back. Keep your eye on the 6.9. That's Brad Rivers in the Miller Lite Ford. Love that chrome paint scheme on the outside, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it looks really cool. Let's keep our eye on that 6.9. I think you're going to see him bobble because this track takes a huge undulation into turn number 1. Right here where the banking really hits. Keep your eye on the front end of that 6.9. Oh, was there contact from that one car? 6.9's already coming loose, Pete. And forgive me if I'm getting too meticulous here. I'm going to ride on board just the front fender of the 69 here because I want to see if there was any sort of contact between him and the one car. Netcode. Pete, that's netcode. Look at that.
One's coming down. The 69. Yeah, he's got that front end pointing towards that inside line. It doesn't look like the 38 made any kind of contact from behind. 38 checked up a little bit, and he ended up getting run over from behind by the number 5, and from there it was just a chain reaction.
Watch the 2.4 here. If you want to see, this is the definition of netcode, fans. If you've never seen netcode before, it's what you would call a bubble or anything else where the cars come close to making contact, but there is indeed no contact. Watch the space here between the 3.8 and the 2.4. Nothing. And there you see sparks come off the 2.4. 2.4 snaps loose. Mike Allen behind him, and watch this. 24 of Cole Snyder launches into the stratosphere. The 60 of Jeff Noe is involved. And kudos to the 77 of Matt Cochran. One look from the 7.7 because he came down to a slow pace, but he managed to crawl his way through this.
And you know what? While you were at slow pace right there, you could actually see the right rear of the 69 get dented in where the 38 hadn't even touched him. Complete netcode.
Look at that. Oh, and there was contact with the 5 of Mike Allen. But if you look, I mean, that's a scratch. That's nothing that can't be just, put some spit on it, a little bit of 200-mile-an-hour tape, hold that baby together, he'll be all right. The number 77 of Matt Cochran earned tonight's 3rd Cole Trickle move of the race.
Ice cream!
Ice cream indeed, Cole. Ice cream indeed. Pete, we got to catch our breaths here. We're still under yellow. Looks like Terry Radford is at the point with Grandpa Coey to his outside. And actually, I think we took so much time there. They're going to go green this time by, so we'll hit a break next time. But Radford and Coey leading us to the line. Swansworth in that number 1 Budweiser Chevrolet to the inside of Corey Blevins. Byron Jones up 18 places, just like Josh Roberts to his outside. And after that big one, Pete, really anybody could win this now, couldn't they?
Absolutely. I was actually just looking at Byron Jones's number 8, I believe. And he actually had a little bit of contact on the back. I don't think there's very many cars out here that don't have contact if they've been involved in any of the previous issues But man, no, he's actually in the 55. Excuse me, sorry about that. He's in the 8 on Monday nights.
Pace truck peels off, green flag waves through the air, 19 laps underway from Chelmsford.
Yeah, Terry Radford hard on the loud pedal, 66, and Grandpa Cody to his outside. Shad Swatsworth's going to go ahead and get all over the back bumper of that 3 and then just go ahead and try to duck on down. Terry Radford's going to go ahead and shut that door. Blevin's going to take up the middle. Here comes the 55 of Byron, 3 wide for P3.
Out of that second corner now, 101, 155, and I say 101, he's being scored as the 101. He's the 3 of Terry Radford to the inside, Shad Swatsworth to the outside. Bama Trama in the chat says, go Terry! Mama Vols is in the chat, and a big shout out to KS Gaming 51 who says, wow. Michael D. Campbell also in the chat says, that was netcode. Talk about it. You can catch a lot with that netcode there. Look at the way the cars just violently bounce out of turn number 4 at the line. 1. Look at this, 3 wide for second now. 4 cars within a 10th, Pete.
Yeah, where do they go, though, when they get to that 1? They had that big old pull, and it looks like the 3, he's going to go ahead and stay right behind him. 55 is going to stay in the middle with a little bit of help from the 15 of Josh Roberts behind. Corey Blevins had to check up a little bit for the 15, and that absolutely slowed up Jeff No back there.
1 still at the front, Shad Swansworth, but now to his outside, Byron Jones in that number 55, Raise Energy Chevrolet. Chevrolet's all the way down to 6th place, Jeff No, but the draft works so well through here on the bottom right-hand side, 225 and climbing. Watch the numbers creep up. 55 to the outside with a big push from the 15 charge on the outside line. Swansworth leading to the inside, trying to hold off at the line. 1 leads into turn 1, Pete, anybody's game.
Absolutely, but a whole ton of momentum on that outside. They look like they're stacked up on the bottom and on the top. No clear line has the clear advantage just yet. Everybody's still racing behind the 1, and we got another caution.
Crash coming out of that back corner right there, looking back through the field as speeds tumble back down. Is that the 19 again? No, that's the 24. One more time, Pete. Cole Snyder involved again. And
yeah, Jordan Bain collected as well.
Points leader Jordan Bain was in that wreck also. Let's find out where that 28 is. Presumably, no, he's still running. And there's the 71 of Grandpa Coey behind him. That 28 has some scratches on him, but not as bad as I would have thought. Let's go back and see what brings out caution number 4. Snyder already loose. Look at that. They almost split him. The 18 of Millsap misses that one. Josh Arnold involved. The 69 involved. One more look from a different angle. Snyder just snaps loose, Pete. Let's run this one back. And there's another Cole Trickle award coming. I'm really excited for it. But the 24 is going to lose it here into 1.
Yeah, behind the 17. And he goes to turn left. Jordan Bain back there, 24. Just yeah, he snaps, and that's really all there is to it.
All right, but let's get to the important part. We got some more Cole Trickle awards coming up, and this is his second one tonight. Expert Racing, Josh Franks, for avoiding that accident in that 6 car. Watch this.
Amazing hands getting through there. Absolutely.
Isn't this Sweet Hand Franks, or what do we call them, Sugar Hands or something like that? Sugar Hands Franks with that first right there, with that Cole Trickle move of the race. Now, let's go back. The 18 of Jake Millsap, he kept it moving as well. Or not Jake Millsap, I'm sorry, the luckier of the 2 Swatsworths in this one. This is Kurt. Just missed that one. Right there, my boy Kurt's gonna get his first Cole Trickle move of the race tonight. Give it up for Kurt Swatsworth.
That and a couple of extra.
What do you think Kurt's favorite ice cream is?
I would have to say, knowing him, I think he's a Neapolitan kind of guy.
His brother's leading, and you know what? We were going to go to break, but let's bother Shad real quick. Let's see here. Shad.
What'd it do?
Pete and Rick James, buddy, in the booth. How you doing, man?
A lot better than a lot of these guys.
What's your brother's favorite flavor of ice cream, Shad?
I don't care.
Okay, see you, bud. Thanks, Shad Spotsworth. We're going to go ahead and take a break. Pete will be back in 60 seconds. Actually, no, we won't, because the pre-rolls aren't on yet. I tell you what, at least he's honest. I don't care. Yeah, we know. That's all right.
Did you really send him back like that?
Yeah, absolutely. That's the only reason. I don't care how he's doing. I only want to know what Kurt's favorite flavor of ice cream is, but we talked to the leader under caution, and that's not Kurt's position right now.
That's just classic.
That's,
oh my god.
But before the race, I got in the driver chat, and I went over to Kurt, and I said, Kurt, when's the last time you raced your brother in the Xfinity Series? He said, months ago, Michigan. And I said, beat his frickin' butt on the racetrack. And I hope I didn't curse him, but he's making his way. Maybe the luck is going his way now that he was able to avoid that accident. Who knows?
That was like your John Madden moment. Boom, you're gone.
Exactly. Boom. Back to the nether regions. So Shad Spotsworth is leading. We'll see if the lights stay on the pace truck here. And it looks like they're out. So we are going green next time by, fans, but we're going to turn the pre-rolls on for those who aren't subscribed. We're going to take a 30-second break, and we'll be ad-free for the next 10 minutes after that. Don't go anywhere. We'll have the restart of this thrilling race in 30 seconds. Back from iRacing Superspeedway, just past the 1/4 mark in tonight's festivities. Pete, I'm having a ball, man. Thanks so much for coming out, man. This has been so much fun so far.
Absolutely, yo. We're having more fun in the booth than they are. As you mentioned, on their fourth caution, I was just thinking, looking at this #1 Budweiser machine for Shad Spotsworth, when Dale Jr. was all about this scheme, the famous bullfrogs were all over the TV, with the Super Bowl and all that, when they're going, Bud, wise, and it just brings back so much nostalgia, so many great races watching that #8 Bud machine all over the NASCAR circuit. But he's got the 55 of Byron Jones to his outside, Terry Radford behind him, and then the number 15 of Josh Roberts back green, going full bore in turn #1. Got able to keep that #1 pinned down low. The 55 is going to try to find a gap. Terry Radford there to seal it. 15 with a big head of steam. It looks like he's actually going to stick right with that 55. Chose not to go around him. Terry Radford still happy right there on the bottom. 60 of Jeff No up high is going to be the number 5 of Mike Allen. And then you've got the 69 there of Brad Rivers as well. Corey Blevins, Jeff Lednam, and Enrique Quinones going to round out your top 10, still staying green. Cross the stripe this time, starting lap 26 of lap 80.
"26 laps now underway from the iRacing Superspeedway. Byron Jones leading the race with Josh Roberts sitting in second, 2x2 down that back straight on the inside line. Car 5-5 pushed by the 1-5, and then the 1 of Shad Spotsworth third in line to the outside. Pete, 2x2, 3 rows deep into the third corner. We're only 27 laps into this one. Who's going to hang on?
I don't know, 69 of Brad Rivers just got shoved up track. One rule about here, as well as Daytona and Talladega, don't push the pusher. You had 3 cars right there, all nose to tail. You can't do it in ARCA, you can't do it in Xfinity, you can't do it in Cup, you can't do it in the trucks. You got to leave some kind of space between, and with that little bit of contact on that outside or the 69 getting pushed up track, it allowed these three up front to go ahead and start a little bit of a gap. Everybody now chasing that Raise Energy number 55 for Byron Jones.
Single file on the inside line, and I think sanity has prevailed. Drivers have said they want to get the race moving. Byron Jones still at the point, but now he's got Shad Swansworth challenging to the outside. Drivers being cautious, but still eager to use the draft to their advantage. In that number 60 Ford Mustang Thunderbird lookalike, the 60 of Jeff No sneaks right into that second place in line, being followed by the 69 of Brad Rivers. Further on back, it is a jumble at the back. Hunter Peach slow coming up, but he's got that draft into one.
Yeah, 15 tried a little bit of side draft, almost able to complete the pass on the 55. But now the one of Shad Swansworth, that seems like he's been up front all night long, sitting in P number 2, Corey Blevins, P3 on the bottom, 15 right now of Josh Roberts in the middle. Shad came on up, took that line away. Jeff No up high, 3 wide, 2 rows deep.
The one dives down to that inside line, and there's heavy contact with the 15. Jeff No's going for a ride. Millsap into the fence and sailing through that Chelmsford sky. The 60 back down to the inside, rests gently up against the 1-8 of Millsap, whose luck has... Not Millsap. I always think that I'm associating the Napa scheme with Jake Millsap, but it's not Jake Millsap. It's the 18 of Kurt Swatsworth. And we may have cursed him because he just sailed into that fence just after we said he had had some luck. But Pete, looking at that one, that just looked like it may have been a bit of impatience that got the 60 of No turned around. Let's have a look, because that was something.
Yeah, it came up off the bottom, slid up just a little bit, and unfortunately the 60 of Stout Whiskey was right there. Nothing he could do about it.
One more look from the outside. Let's see if we can get just... keep your eye on that 15 to the inside. Just in the vacuum hole. Just in that vacuum hole.
Yep.
And nothing you could really do at that point, if we're honest. One look here from one driver who just barely avoided this one. Talking about Terry Radford in that 3. Oh, this is headed into turn 3 now. This is the accident being set up. Not bad at all. That right there is going to earn Terry Radford tonight's, well, his first Cole Trickle move of the race tonight as he comes down pit road. Pete, I think we're under our 5th caution for the evening. Hardly Chili Bowl numbers, but still expected with all this high-speed racing.
Absolutely. You know what? It was a great job by Terry Radford, not only to miss the entire wreck that was going on, but he kept it off the 17 when everybody was driving through the rest of that carnage. So good job by Terry to get through that completely.
If you've recently joined us, I'm Rick James, joined by Pete Ruzick to my outside, a.k.a. Repeat 1975. You're watching the 14th round of 15 regular season races, and then the 16th and final round will be the championship final. That's going to be 2 weeks from now, and looking at these points, Jordan Bain comes into tonight with an 11-digit lead. Jordan Bain currently running 19th in pit road. Hunter Peach comes into this race 11 points off of Jordan Bain and only 6 points ahead of Matt Boone. Hunter Peach has worked his way into 8th right now. Matt Boone, who's in 3rd. Again, this is all coming into tonight. Only 7 points ahead of J. Paul Arnold. Boone is sitting 25th right now, some laps down. J. Paul Arnold, KS Gaming, who just flew into the fence, says he can fly. It ain't no believing. We saw it with our own eyes. He can just straight up fly. Josh Arnold in the same boat, but Pete, before I went on this tangent, the point stands. All these drivers in the top 5 are in deep trouble.
Oh, absolutely. I don't think anybody's going to gain any real points on who they're actually chasing. Everybody at some point has been involved in one of these wrecks. And like Swatch just said, he can fly. And not only did he go up the banking to fly, when he bounced off that outside wall to add insult to injury to old Stout Whiskey, he came on back down and tagged that 60 while it laid in the grass as well. So very, very unfortunate. Rick James, it looks like the lights on the pace truck are out. 69 of Brad Rivers going to lead the 77 of Matt Cochran. When we go back green, Corey Blevins and the 1 of Shad Swatsworth, as well as the 9 and the 17. That's going to be your top 6. When we go back, that loud pedal is going to get very busy here pretty quick.
These cars are going to hit this pedal, and they're going to go flying better than 225 miles an hour. Again, if you've never seen racing at the iRacing Superspeedway before, it's a treat. It's a hoot. It's a 3-mile paperclip. Take a look at the track map once more. It is a 3-mile paperclip. It is 6 times the length of Martinsville, and it might as well be 6 times the speed too, because it feels like it's that exciting. But the 6'9 of Brad Rivers is going to lead the 7'7 of Matt Cochran on the outside. Cochran's got 1 Cole Trickle Award tonight, and hopefully he doesn't have to earn any more on that outside line, but the draft is friendly to nobody but the driver second in line, Pete. We're getting ready to go racing with 49 laps to go.
49 laps to go. Rivers, Cochran, Blevins, Swatsworth, Quinones, Meredith, Peach, Jones, Radford, and Coey. That's going to be your top 10 as they get on the pedal. Get ready to go. 69 of Rivers doesn't want to get too much of a lead on Blevins, but he needs the help from Blevins to stay ahead of Matt Cochran and the 1 of Shad, which again, Shad has been up front all night long. He's hasn't really damaged that Bud can too badly. $69, $99, 1, and the 9. A whole lot of 9s in there, all in the top 4. They were single file for just a moment. Thought better of it, ducked out to that middle lane. Here comes the 55 of Byron Jones. He's going to work his way into P5. 99 and 1, almost a little bit of contact there. I think Shad might have had to check up just a little bit. You see a car just now exiting pit road. The 9 of Enrique Quinones. He's going to be able to find a spot right in front of Grandpa Coey. And here comes that 60 of Jeff No as well. Old Stout Whiskey is the one going to go for the lead.
Schwarzworth in the lead with Corey Blevins in that second position. Brad Rivers sitting in third in that Miller Lite Ford. The 60 of Jeff No can't be put down. Involved in an accident, but back to fight. Matt Cochran in that 7-7 falling off, however, right behind him comes the 14 of Nate Lehman in that Outback Steakhouse Ford, but blinking violently. Zach Meredith now behind him with Hunter Peach in his wake. Rounding out the top 15 is Rocky Top Wade in that 2-7 Ford. Up ahead in that number 6 is Sugar Hands Franks. That Goodwrench Chevrolet trying to catch up to Hunter Peach. To the inside of points leader Jordan Bain at the line, Pete. Shad Swatsworth leads, Radford to the outside.
Yeah, Radford coming up the outside of the 99 of Blevins, almost all by himself, but just then the Rico machine for Jim Coey comes up behind him. Blevins going to dive up to that outside line as well. It looks like the 3 of Terry went up even higher. He said, "No, I got this. I'm going." He's going to try to get to the outside of Blevins. Radford wants to lead bad.
On the outside now, the number 69 Miller Ford with help from Corey Blevins in that 9-9 into turn number 3. The sun reflects off the top of that Blevins Design Chevrolet with the 3 of Radford in the draft, waiting for someone to come up. Riding along with Swatsworth now across that line, leading the field. Byron Jones in the second position to the outside, and that 6-9 in the vacuum hole, trying to sneak down in front of Quinones in that Michelob Chevy.
Does so easily. And then the 9 back there, a little bit of a gap back to the 60. Almost some contact between the 3 and the 60 a little bit further back. Now 3 wide for P4.
Josh Franks running in the 11th position into that third corner. The sound of those furious race cars flying. 230 into that third corner. Swatsworth leading. Catch your breath if you can. It is only going to get faster. 35 laps now complete with another 45 to go. Rivers sitting in second. Now to that outside. Pete, these cars are so dependent on this draft, but it looks like Rivers might be struggling to pull off the slingshot. The 55 of Jones wiggles into turn number 1, but he saves it and keeps her pointed in the right direction.
Well, I'd really love to know exactly what all the pre-race settings were for these cars, and if anybody's adjusted their brake bias, maybe their steering ratio, whichever. Seeing a whole lot of loose vehicles. We've seen a couple get loose in the pack. I mean, yeah, the air could have something to do with it, but that little bit of a wiggle by the 55 has allowed the 69 and the 1 to get about a good, half-second gap, but that is erased quickly. 69 is pulling the rest of these guys up. It's going to be a fight for the lead again before you know it.
Byron Jones in that 5-5 gets control of his car once more, drafting with the 9 of Enrique Quinones. Further on back, points leader Jordan Bain to the inside of Sugar Franks, trying to get that spot back. Franks drafting with the 7-7 of Matt Cochran on the high side. Hunter Peach, who's second in points, now drafting with his main rival 11 spots ahead. But it's been an incredibly rough night for both of them, as Rock NASCAR 388 in the chat says, do it for Dale. We'll see what kind of heroics these drivers come up with in the final 42 laps.
I tell you what, Rick, you cannot stay side by side coming off of these corners because that bump is so violent. It will kick you up. Speaking of kicking up, it looked like the 3 found another gear up on that high side. Coe sees him up there again. So does Blevins. Looks like Terry Radford's going to try to go for the lead. One's got kicked out a little loose, and he's going to collect more. There's the caution.
There is that yellow right there, and the 1 of Swatsworth finally gets a little bit of contact. He's been clean up until this point, but just before the halfway mark, caution will fly. Matt Cochran went off the track. Also, let's go back and see what happened to the 1 of Shad Swatsworth. There it is, just gets loose right into the 99. Let's get a more complete look here. Headed into turn 1, Pete, to the inside of that 9-9. He just gets upset. He's loose. The car just gets upset, and it bounces off of that apron. Nothing that Enrique Quinones could do at that point. One more look, but poor Q-Dog was just a passenger.
Yeah, very, very unfortunate. I think he was starting to break loose, went down, hit that line just a little bit, tried to save it. Maybe, I'm not quite sure about the inside of the car, but very, very unfortunate for Shad. I mentioned, he hasn't had to crack that Bud can just yet. Got cracked pretty hard right there. In fact, he had a couple cans if the 9 and the rest of J-Paw's militia are all running that beverage logo.
All the J-Paw militia now has to be on alert. KS Gaming in the chat says, Sunday driving back there. Brad Rivers at the front in the number 69 Ford. Fans at home. We're going to take a 60-second break, and we'll be back in 1 minute with the back 9. Let's take a break. Go ahead and stretch, get a snack, get a drink, because you're going to want to be a part of this next 40 laps. Trust me.
Absolutely.
This is going to be so much fun, everybody. We'll see you in 60 seconds. Live once again from the iRacing Superspeedway. You're looking at Terry Radford to the inside of Byron Jones, Shad Swatsworth, and Kurt Swatsworth. Funny enough, there is relation between those two. If the DEI cars didn't give it away, we've got the 8, the 15. I'm almost wishing there was a yellow Steve Park car out here just to complement those three. In the early 2000s, those were some of the best-looking cars.
Absolutely. I go back. I've actually got Steve Park's Rockingham Win diecast sitting over here to my left. It would have been pretty cool to have, you know, the Bud, the Napa, and the yellow Pennzoil car all together. Or even if J-Paw was running that right now, that would have been pretty cool. Yeah,
J-Paw, way to drop the ball on that one, man. Totally. Master Killer in the chat says, Steve! Cheering for Steve. Everybody's having fun. The pace truck peels off. Terry Radford and Byron Jones at the point. Have a listen to this. Green flag is out. 40 laps to go. Radford leading Swatsworth now down this back straight, Pete. Still so much racing left to go, so much drafting that could take place. Radford, Swatsworth, Rivers on the inside.
Yeah, Rivers on the inside, 55 of Byron up in the middle, and then one Curtis Swatsworth, the other brother. And yeah, you wouldn't know it if you ever get them in a party and they go at each other every now and then. Yes, they are absolutely brothers. But 55 of Byron charging hard on the outside. 69 comes on up to pick up that draft. Terry Radford, middle line, low line, bottom line, and he's going to try to hold off the 69 of Rivers right here. Levin's going to stay with him, but Rick, it seems like the theme of this all is if there's a hole, stuff your car in there and see where it takes you.
We'll see who's brave enough to try and put that square peg into a round hole with 5 laps to go. Right now, it's Corey Blevins and that 99 to the inside of that 69. Just so violent the way those cars shudder up against the asphalt when they get into turn 3 and turn 1, but they're brave enough to hold on to it. Now they're 2 by 2, 3 rows deep across the line. It's Brad Rivers, Byron Jones, Corey Blevins in third.
Yeah, big shout out to AKA Wonder out there in your chat cheering on Mike Ramsett, or Mike Allen as what we all know him by. I tell you, ramming those, Wonder, and those 3 letters in front of his name, he takes it back to, you know, when we're talking about these DEI cars, back to the old AKA and Pro Boss days, and a couple of very notable broadcasters came out of that. Frozen Toes and Atlanta Racing, just to name a couple.
Just to name a couple. Pete, you're not naming a couple. You're naming 2 legends of the game. Shout out to Aunt Fro and Uncle Atlanta, wherever you guys are. Appreciate you so much. Hope you all are doing well. I know Atlanta was sick the other day, and I hope he's feeling a lot better. And Frozen Toes is a big friend to the community. So thank you guys for tuning in. The 69 of Brad Rivers leading the 99 of Corey Blevins. Byron Jones sitting in third. Pete, I just can't get enough of this snake. The way that these cars weave left and right down the back straight. Blevins to the outside for first.
Yeah, talk about Byron Jones. Got a little bit of independence today. I don't know if you've noticed or not, but usually it said Jeff Jones for his name, like Jeff Jones 4 or something like that. As you see a little bit of netcode between him and the 69 of Blevins. I think Blevins was able to save it. Oh, able to not get forced down pit road. Huge save by that 99.
Unbelievable way to hold on to that one. The 19 of Jake Millsap in that A&W Chevrolet in the wall now. Blevins holds on to her, and at the risk of missing further action on the racetrack, I have got to see what Corey Blevins' view looked like. Have a watch from the cockpit, Pete. Take a look at these hands. Nope, this is the lap before. No idea what I'm thinking. One more chance here. Still nothing. Here we go. I got it now, I promise. Well, I screwed up the replay, but the 99 of Corey Blevins didn't screw up the race car, and that's all that matters. Coming to 33 laps to go next time by. Brad Rivers at the front. Kurt Swatsworth in second.
Yeah, Kurt Swatsworth second. Byron Jones, like I was saying, he's now got everything on here to himself. So it's no more Jeff Jones 4. It's all about young Byron Jones, Yotes King, as it was back in the day. And Shad Swatsworth, who was in that last wreck, now back up to P number 4, showing just how great of a car he's got.
The 18 and the 1, those siblings looking to get hooked up back together. It's the 3 of Terry Radford on the outside. Mama Vols cheering for him, and the Tennessee family going nuts watching that number 3 Martin Sports Chevy on the outside trying to get some draft here. Pete, it's still more than 30 laps remaining. That's 90 miles of racing to go. Patience would be a well sought after virtue.
Absolutely. You would think that a 3-mile track would take forever to get around if you're thinking about some road courses or whatever. But no, when you're going 240 mile an hour around this 3-mile highly banked paperclip, it does not take too long. So they're going to get through here in a hurry. Next time by, we'll start lap 49. Like you said, 31 laps to go.
You can already feel that tension in the air, though. After so many cautions, you know that the drivers are desperate to get moving, but at these ridiculous speeds, Kurt Swatsworth takes the lead, going 232 miles an hour, and your new leader for the first time today is the 18 Napa Chevrolet.
We were actually joking around and talking about this with him in pre-race. He said he's gone 300 and something starts without a W, and you actually said, watch, you'll get it done today. Hopefully you didn't jinx yourself, but yeah, he's got that Napa Camaro in the wind. Great push by the 55 behind him. 69 of Rivers up high. There's the 3 of Terry, and again, there's the other Swatsworth brother.
Car snaking up out of that 4th corner. Gotta give it up to Rocky Top Sam Wade in the top 15 now. Drafting behind the 1-4 of Nate Lehman, and second place in the points, Hunter Peach, looking for some sort of resurrection. This is the time that Hunter has to strike. Pete, looking at this points table as the 19 of Jake Millsap with their... Hold on. Hold the phone. There's literally no front end on that 19, and that's just entertaining. Look at that. I haven't seen a car look like that since the late 90s, man, when they allowed cars to still run like that. That's impressive. That's something else.
Looks like an old modified.
It does, doesn't it? You know what? That's an idea for a series. We're going to take these cars, wreck the front of them just enough to make them modifieds, and then race. Excellent idea, Pete. You're a genius. Anyway, Hunter Peach is in second. He's got to take advantage of the situation right now because Jordan Bain is in 8th, not running his best race. Shout out to Giacomo Geronimo, who just followed a few seconds ago, Pete, but as I continue to digress, 2-6 has to do better.
Yeah, 26 has got to get up there and really try to compete at a higher level. We're very, very used to him being up front, leading a whole lot of laps. Right now, we're watching somebody that is not used to having the lead, but man, he is controlling these 2 and 3 wide cars like a super speedway ace, keeping the 55, keeping the 3. He was keeping the 69, and anybody else that's tried to come on up there and take the lead behind him by picking up their momentum and stealing it, making them check up. There you see it again.
Really just, and I know it sounds cliche at a super speedway, and there it is, 6'9", 18 into the wall. 3 of Radford launches him into the atmosphere. The 6 of Josh Franks avoided him. The 71 of Grandpa Coey barrels into him, and the 18 of Kurt Swatsworth goes airborne into the fence for the second time today. Pete, the curse of the commentator is strong with us. Just as we start dapping somebody up on how well they've been doing, they go into the sky.
Yeah, he absolutely got launched again after going up the hill, hitting that wall extremely hard. The way he tumbled was kind of reminiscent of Earnhardt at Talladega years and years ago, where he got out of the car, saw it still had 4 wheels on it, got back in it, and drove it around. I've actually got that 1/64 diecast sitting in a new cabinet that my wife got me for Christmas. And there's that replay again. Bam! Up in the outside wall and completely airborne. There was a wreck like that the other day, and Byron thought about a new sponsor, old SpaceX.
That's actually really funny. That's really funny. I love that. One more look. Corey Blevins almost avoided this one in the 99. And it looks like the 18 just got loose of his own accord, Pete. And I'll tell you what, the 6'9 also got loose. But I don't know if anything happened to the 69. KS Gaming in the chat says, well, that sucks. Yeah, Kurt, we saw it. We know it sucks, buddy. Maybe some ice cream will help you feel better. One more look at the 6'9", though, because Brad Rivers just kind of went around and no one touched him. Pete, is that netcode again? Those cars were a foot and a half apart. There's no way the netcode works like that.
And there goes Swats out there. You wanted to know what kind of ice cream earlier? There it is. Mint chocolate. Yep, absolute netcode. Man, the netcode tonight has... it's been a force of its own, if you get the pun.
Yes, no, it has, I mean, we're not talking Jedi mind tricks out here. We're talking full-on Sith assault from this netcode, just shoving cars out of the way. Now, Pete, we have lots of experience on console, and this has been the worst I've seen from netcode in a while. However, not as bad as what we've seen before. KS Gaming in the chat says 3 feet from a car and it sends you. No kidding. Hopefully, it doesn't happen on the last lap here, but these cars are only going to get closer. They're only going to get faster. And Pete, guess who's in the lead?
Young Byron Jones.
Byron!
Raise energy number 55.
Byron Jones. To the point, Shad Swatsworth in the second position. Jeff No bringing the Mark Martin magic up to the third position right now. Master Killer 737 says 38 is the old Talladega car. You better believe it. It's one of my favorite paint schemes to see. Obviously, all the Dale Earnhardt paint schemes are special to see, but when it's got the red wing or the red spoiler and the red 38 on top, everyone knows beyond a shadow of a doubt that is Dale's 75th and final win in October of 2000 at Talladega.
Yeah, interesting story. Why we've actually got a second. We were at Charlotte Motor Speedway for Pro League Season 1, the inaugural race where they did it live on stage at the track. We were driving around, and one of the guys that was with me in the back seat said, hey, there's DEI. So we pulled over. I figured, you know what? I've been wanting to get here for a while, so we went inside. I wanted to buy a die cast. Looked around. One of the guys says, hey, they got this car here. It's Dale Sr.'s last win. I was like, all right, great. So I go up to the desk and said, I want that one. They said, okay, we'll go get you one. They didn't have any more in the back, so they sold me the demo model. I get the car home. On the inside is a sticker that says DEI Bank. It's number 1 of 3,333. That car was not supposed to be sold. I've got that under a locked case along with the rest of my cars. It will go nowhere. Too bad there's not an old Kenny Wallace D-Trade car out here.
If anybody's listening and they have a Kenny Wallace D-Trade car, contact Repeat at Repeat1975 on Twitter. Let's talk turkey. Master Killer 737 agrees. He says, wow, Pete, Byron Jones at the front. Fans, we're going to take a quick 30-second break, and we'll be back with the final 25 laps of racing from iRacing Superspeedway. Back from iRacing Superspeedway, the pace truck peels off. Byron Jones at the front with Shad Swatsworth to his outside. It's a quarter to go. 25 laps remaining. Green flag is out at iRacing Superspeedway.
Yeah, 55 into 1. One actually timed that restart perfectly. Jeff Note in that 60 Old Stout Whiskey down below. And there is the 28 of Boehner. He's seeking a little bit of redemption after the way that the race started. And I'm sure all these cautions after he used his fast repair have absolutely fallen into his hands because he's been able to get some repair. And because the cautions have collected so many people, he hasn't lost too many spots. There he is sitting now. Well, he's still got some damage on the front end, so it's costing him a little bit of aero, but the 55 and 1 still dueling it out going into the corner.
Into that third corner now, the 55 to the inside. Kurt Swatsworth says he's free for 50 minutes now. I can take a hint. Welcome to the booth, driver of the now defunct, destroyed, and out of this race, number 18 Napa Chevrolet. Kurt, your brother Shad Swatsworth takes the point with 24 laps to go.
Yeah, Shad's got some major speed. I was trying to stay up there with him, but this netcode, I don't know what they did in the update that I had today, but it's terrible. I have no idea. You can't even get close to a car. It's either that or it's the air. I don't know if it's the pushing of the air on this track. It's such a high speed, but it is very, very hard to keep a hold of.
Pete headed into that third corner. Shad Swatsworth leads. Byron Jones on board with that number 8. And let's go to the gyro view here because you're going to see just what the banking does and watch the violent shake this number 1 car is going to take into that first corner.
Yeah, absolutely. And as he comes up off that corner, we've actually seen some cars in practice actually come up off the ground. It is literally that violent. And if you're on a late fuel run, not only are your tires worn, but because the car is getting lighter, that could also be what is causing a little bit of this looseness as Corey Blevins in that 99 gets a huge run, shoots to the outside of the 55. He's going to try for the lead, but he's going to run out of steam. Jeff No not up there to help, neither is the 23.
Blinking from that 5.5 of Byron Jones, Master Killer says, I see one scheme that won on my B-Day in 2000, the number 60, talking about that Mark Martin Winn-Dixie, the Beef People Ford. He's trying to bring the beef back up to the podium with help from the 6.9 of Brad Rivers. Rounding out the top 10, Matt Cochran, who's got a little bit of mojo back in him. Then it's Grandpa Coey in the number 66 Rico Chevrolet, trying to draft off of that 71 of Papa Bear Campbell, the 38 of Boone, sitting on that inside line now, trying to draft with the 2.8 of Jordan Bain in 7th. Kurt Swatsworth, who's going to win this race, 21 to go this time.
I mean, obviously I have to pull for my teammate with Shad and Matt. Matt is 8 laps down, so probably not going to be able to get there, but he might be able to help Shad as a pick or anything like that. Shad does not have his fast repair anymore. He did use it early on when he lost his back bumper. So I'm going to say Shad or, wow, who's left? I'll just go with Bain. That's probably who it'll be, but I'll go with Shad first.
3 wide for that 4th position. Pete 60 to the outside. The 2.8 of Jordan Bain, the points leader. Look at that damaged race car, Pete. If he can come back and get a win tonight, this may just seal the title.
I mean, that Ford Mustang is definitely battered and bruised on the front, but he's in the draft of the 99, and he's got that 69 of Mr. Rivers in his back pocket as well. So there's still plenty of speed left in that 28. He just has to keep the damage out of the air, stay in the draft, or stay in the slipstream, as I've heard many, many times over these last couple of weeks with all the road course races or road course practicing that I've been doing with a lot of people from abroad. Yeah, as long as he can keep it in the draft, Bain still has a huge chance. But if he's going to go for the win, he's going to have to make that pass at the very, very last minute to where he's got the momentum and he doesn't rely on just his front end sticking out in the air.
Hunter Peach in that 2.6, Reem Camry running in the 12th position right now. Hunter is 11 points behind points leader Jordan Bain headed into this race with a disconnecting and internet challenge. Nate Lehman behind him. No draft help behind, but he's coming up to that 17 of Zach Meredith. that nationwide Chevrolet comes into this race 5th in points, only 15 markers off of J. Paul Arnold, who's sitting further down through this running order. Still so much racing to go, Pete. Shad Swatsworth continues to lead, but as we've said all night long, with this 230-mile-an-hour draft, Shad is a sitting duck.
Yeah, very, very possibly. And, that 55, I think right now he is just content. He's seen that he can get that Raise Energy South Beach machine up into the lead and hold off or fend off people, just like Swats here was doing just a little bit ago. He was going up to block, take the run from the 69, going up, taking the run from the 60, going up, taking the run from the 1. So Swats was doing a great job holding off the field. We'll have to see if the 1 can do that, just as you saw him go up to maybe pick up the 99, or it might have just been to get a better arc into the corner. That way the bump wasn't so evil for that Bud machine.
Him and the 55 are working together a little bit. You can hear it in race chat of the 55 telling the 1, hey, let's try to break away from these guys if we can. Let's try to stay in line. I'm not going to pass you. Byron's got some damage to that right rear at the spoiler spot, but he's still staying right with Shad. The reason Shad's moving up a half a track is to get that arc, but he's also giving Byron a view to go into the corner so that Byron's not surprised when he gets to the corner and maybe clips the apron, just so him and Byron can stay tucked up on each other.
Don't look now, Pete and Kurt, but that 2-3 of Jose Ruiz is starting to make his way into the top 3. Now on the outside with a draft, shades of Joe Nemechek rocking the old 42 Bell South colors in that Chevrolet Camaro, now drafting off of Blevins on that high side. Pete, the 71 of Papa Bear Campbell running 16th, a lap down, but he wants to play too. Everybody's getting a piece of the action, coming to 16 laps to go.
Yeah, and it's what's really, really interesting is right about this time is where we've started to see people get loose after the fuel load has come on down and that right rear has gotten very, very light. Cranking that wheel, getting into the corner a little bit too much at times, which it could be, again, the reason that the 1 car is coming up and then turning in. He got bit by that earlier. He turned into the corner, the front left dug into that yellow line, just like you see the 55 do right there, and he's able to save it this time.
Kurt Byron Jones with an incredible save down the back straight, still on the apron. He's going to list lazily to the right, up under Matt Cochran. He's still in this game.
Yeah, Byron just made an incredible save. I was trying to tell the guys earlier that they needed to stay about a half track up when they come out of the corner so that they don't get that wheel dug in. I know that a couple of the guys looked at the setup before the race started, and the camber was adjusted on the standard setup. And that's what we're noticing on a lot of the cars. When I was in the car, it actually looked like Levin's right front was turned sideways, kind of like a Back to the Future car in the future. So it's kind of weird. I don't know what it is they did, but it really rips into the wheel when you come out of the corner and when you're going into the corner now.
Pete, 14 laps to go this time by. Shad Swatsworth has held on to that lead valiantly. We saw in the chat earlier, Master Killer saying Hunter is waiting until 15 laps to go, and Peach will then make a move. Hunter Peach in that 2-6 currently sits somewhere. Can't find him, but it's going to be a great run to the end.
Yeah, Hunter Peach right now outside the top 10, actually sitting back there in P11 with the 17 of Zach Meredith in his immediate sights. Right now, the 23, you alluded to him earlier, that beautiful Bell South machine for Jose Ruiz. The 1 still, though, not giving up at all. Behind the top 2, you've got now Shad Swatsworth and Corey Blevins. And here comes the 71, like you said. He's laps down. But it looks like Pop Bear's got that machine fixed up. A little bit of a blink out of him. Not bad. He said something earlier, and I really hope that it's not true. He said he was going to try to get this Tiger Town Ford Mustang to the front. It could possibly be his last Xfinity race. I think he might actually sit up and just take care of the administrative roles at Bristol next week, and then the very, very important race after that at Charlotte Motor Speedway, where we crown a champions all week long.
3 and 4 wide down that back straight. Lucky number 13 laps to go, Kurt. It's a dozen to go this time by. Anything's possible. Papa Bear Campbell could get with 1 lap to go here if another caution comes out. A dozen circuits remain, and the 71 gets a lap back. The number 1 of Shad Swatsworth back to the point.
Yeah, it's actually a really, really good deal for Papa going to the front with Shad right behind him, because right behind Shad is his teammate, Matt Boone. So Shad now has a lap car to draft off of in front of him, plus a teammate behind him to pick, and both of those cars are laps down. So they don't mean anything, but he can use both of them, which is really going to slow the 23, 99, and 69 from making that move on the outside, with Shad being second and being able to pull the draft on the 71.
11 to go this time by, Pete. Who do you got?
Man, I tell you what, Jose Ruiz, he's kept that number 23 very, very clean. Corey Blevins had some issues, so is the 69 of Brad Rivers. Papa Bear's car looks unscathed since he got that thing fixed up. The 1 and the 38 look, they're all right there as well. Man, with these super speedway races, especially here at iRacing Superspeedway, it's still anybody's game.
11 laps to go. The 99 of Corey Blevins goes to the point, but don't you dare count your chickens until that very last straight. The last time we were here, it came to a crash and skidding across that start-finish line, and here we are again. Corey Blevins comes into this race in that 99 car, running a part-time season. He's 22nd in points. He's got 6 bonus points and no wins so far. But if this is an indication for what Season 3 will look like, Kurt, everybody needs to watch out for car 99.
Yeah, Blevins is a really good driver. I've seen him in multiple different leagues running around. Him and Shad have been pretty much towards the front most of this race with the 69 as well. But Jose has been using that outside line. He has not really moved to the bottom. So him and Byron working on the outside. You can see 2 against 6 down there, and they're pulling.
Pete, we just saw 4 of our fastest drivers come down pit road, including Hunter Peach. There's still 30 miles of racing to go, and the track facts say that these drivers won't be able to go more than 30 laps without a pit stop. They last came down on lap 53. Could it be just too much before everybody has to succumb to pit road?
I tell you what, it looks like that 23 and that 55 was just too much for the rest of the field. They used that high line, the momentum off the corner, and everything else they had to their advantage and put themselves in the front. I mean, they just took it between those two, and even though, as Swat said, there were 6 or more cars on the bottom, when they said it was go time, that 55 put that loud pedal all the way down and pushed that 23 to the front.
It's going to be 8 laps to go. 9 at the line will turn into 24 miles next time by. Drivers looking for their first win this season. Many drivers looking for another win. Something to launch themselves closer to that championship final. Cars grinding, just colliding against that asphalt surface in turn number 3. Blevins to the inside of Ruiz, using the lap traffic now on the front straight, and this just got even more interesting, Kurt. These lap cars will have a decision to make in these final 8 laps.
Yeah, it's going to get really dicey right here, depending on where everybody goes. Shad's going to have to go to the middle 3 wide with Wade and Ruiz on the outside, but that pushed Blevins way up in front with Shad pushing him, and then him shooting to the outside like that coming off the corner. It shot him all the way up to the second car that's a lap down up here, and the rest of them all got stuck behind. But now you'll see the one really get a pull on that 99, but where's he going to go with it?
Pete, 7 to go. This time by. Blevins, winless. Ruiz, winless. Shad Swatsworth, all winless this season. Who can get the best draft? It's still anybody's game, and it could very well be a dice roll 7 laps from now.
Normally when you see a whole lot of lap cars on the inside, you're immediately thinking pick, especially when you're riding along with the 38 of Matt Boone, but not the case that time. All those lap cars able to integrate themselves into the lead pack. And once they all got single file on the bottom, the 55 and the 23, they fell to the wayside. Right now, Corey Blevins, he's got the entire bottom line all to himself. Shad Swatsworth, Brad Rivers, Byron Jones, Jose Ruiz, right now the top 5, but they got a lot of cars between them.
Michael Campbell in the chat
Hearing
says,
a
let's
bunch of
go
guys saying
Shad
they're
and
pitting.
Rip. Blevins is in. Blevins is in, and it's more pit stops coming down. That's going to put Shad Swatsworth to the point. 6 laps to go. 18 miles remain in this 240-mile event. Shad Swatsworth, Jose Ruiz, Matt Cochran, your top 3. Shout out to Matt Cochran, repping one of 2 Supras in this entire 27-car field. Cochran holding down 3rd place, Kurt.
Yeah, Cochran's getting ready to come down pit road too. Shad told me before. No, there goes Shad for pitting. I was gonna say Shad was saving when I was leading, so I thought maybe he'd have enough. But Shad's now gonna pit. I don't know where this is gonna come out. We saw last night at that Daytona race of cars staying out longer than the rest of the big pack of cars, and they were able to get a big gap between them. So Shad just slid through the line. I don't know if he got a black flag or
That's
not.
going to be a speeding. That's got to be a speeding penalty at that point. He was screaming in there. We'll see what the times say. And now it's points leader Jordan Bain, who's exiting pit road. Bain just came down, got everything he needed to get. Was that the move? Only a 6.4 second pit stop, but now Zach Meredith moves into 7th place, Pete. He's your potential leader, and look who's in 8th. Hunter Peach, who needed a good run to keep the title fight close with 2 races to go.
Absolutely. It's all going to come around as these guys come screaming. Zach Meredith has some help. Jose Ruiz, Nate Lehman, Jim Coey are the people that they're trying to run down, but they've got 7+ seconds in order to get up there. And as you said, only a few laps left. We learned the other night in the trucks, you can have 3, 4, or 5 trucks, actually 2 or 3 trucks. If you're nose to tail, you could hold off a huge surging pack from the back. You don't have to have 10 cars to try to make up any time on a few in the front, as long as they stay nose to tail.
No drafting help for Jose Ruiz. Zach Meredith coming up behind him now. 4 laps to go. 12 miles. The 23 manages to get around the 15 that was holding him up, but he's still going to face the cavalry. Trial by draft, Kurt. Zach Meredith, Hunter Peach, and company are coming for car 2-3. Here goes Meredith.
I know Bill's Legend said after last night's race, he's been wrecked out of the lead coming to the last lap from multiple super speedways, including last night. So he actually called it earlier, saying that he might get or might have the same thing happen tonight. So there he is at the front with Hunter Peach right behind him. I thought somebody said earlier 15 laps for Hunter Peach. I thought that was a little late to make that move. So here we are with 4 to go now, and he's up here.
3 to go, Pete. 17. 2672 Chevy, Toyota, Chevy. Braden Holt in the 3rd position with Rocky Top Wade sitting in 4th. Braden Holt has a win this season. Wade winless. Hunter Peach, he's got a few wins he's got 1 win, looking for his 2nd victory, and then it's Cochran in that 7-7. He's just here for fun, but you've got to look back to Jose Ruiz. It will be 6 miles to go this time.
Yeah, six miles to go this time, and not really a single lap car to really interfere with this top 5. They passed the 77. Here they are passing by the 1. He's going to stay put out to the outside and let every single one of these top 5 lead lap cars go ahead and duke it out to themselves. The 23 of Jose Ruiz, he's able to get in right behind the 1 of Shad, which is going to go ahead and help propel him back up to the leaders. 17 right now, he's got the clean air. The 26, he wants to win. He wants to close up that points gap to Jordan Bain. Bain right now back in P8.
Kurt, 1.5 laps to go. Who's going to win it?
Like I said, Bill's called it out, or Zach Meredith called it out earlier, saying he would be spun in the last lap, as he has been in several races. But the way Jose has been using this high line, and he hasn't been doing it with a good amount of cars. He's only doing it with 1 or 2 people helping him. And even now, he's out on the outside lane. He's got 1 behind him. He's got another 1 coming behind that one. So that's 3 against 5 on the bottom.
White
He's
flag.
still making it work.
Pete, 3 miles to go. Who do you got?
I've got Jose up on that high side, like Shad was just, or Swats was just saying, man, I got to stop doing that. Like Swats was just saying, Jose has really been making that line work. All kinds of momentum up there coming off the corner. 17 is going to have to hold off this 26. Does he move up to the middle line? You see the 26 peeking out, and you can bet that it's not just for clean air. Showing his hand, the 14 right there, he went on up. 17 is going to keep that Camaro stuck on that yellow line, not going to give any inch whatsoever. 26, he's going to dive out, and he's got help.
To the line, Zach Meredith on the inside, Hunter Peach to the outside. It's
Oh,
Zach Meredith who beats Hunter Peach by 1/100th of a second as there's an explosion of sheet metal across that line. Meredith, Peach, Braden Holt, your top three at the iRacing Superspeedway. Explosive finish across that line. What a way for Zach Meredith to get his first victory this season. Hunter Peach in second. Braden Holt sits in the third position. Fans at home, we're going to have top three interviews, but let's have a look at that run to the checkered flag. Pete, we were screaming all the way down to the line here, and at this point, it looks like Zach Meredith is just ahead of Hunter Peach, and you can see Meredith is just closing up to the line. Hunter Peach is leading at this point. Meredith side drafting off of the 2-6, and at the line, at the very end, it looks like the 17 just edges car 2-6.
Yeah, that 72 gave the 17 a monster shot just before he got to the line, and it propelled him past the 26 of Hunter Peach. And man, congratulations to the 17 of Bills legend Zach Meredith. He's been waiting for this for a long time. He's gonna put, how about this? We've been talking about DEI and Dale Sr., Dale Jr., Steve Park, Michael Waltrip. How about a nationwide scheme going to victory lane?
One more look from the front end here. Zach Meredith with the 2-6 of Hunter Peach to his outside. There's Peach using that side draft to gain that advantage. There's the push from the 7-2 right across the line at the very last moment. That's all she wrote. Zach Meredith and Nate Lehman doing some celebrations, and the 71 of Papa Bear also giving his congratulations. Fans at home, stick around. Top three interviews in just a moment. On the podium now with our top three. Kurt Swatsworth, you're our special guest, and we'll let you go off the bat first. You've got Braden Holt.
Braden, buddy, you come in third tonight. I saw you while I was in the race before I took my trip flying through the air. You were moving through the field pretty easily. You kind of hung around and waited. You made a move towards the end. You were right there, right behind Meredith. You gave him a big shot to go to the finish line. It propelled Meredith right up to the finish line and got him the win by, according to the thing, it's .002, which is super, super close. So congrats on the third place tonight. I think you're in 20th, 24th in points. With 2 races left, Bristol and Charlotte as the championship race. I know you've been running a part-time schedule. Are you going to make those races?
I believe I am going to make those races. That should be really. Those are two fun tracks, so I'm definitely gonna be showing up for those.
When these two slid up the track a little bit, because you could see Meredith come up, and it looked like he almost side drafted against Hunter. Did you have a thought to maybe go to the inside and take a 3 wide?
I had a thought, but I just wanted to keep us 1 through 4, and hopefully nothing else try to happen. Cause Sam Wade there helped us out, us getting a top 3. So I was like, might as well just try to. And I'm like really good friends with Zach, so just trying to help out where I can.
Well, definitely congratulations on third place. Big track, a lot of carnage tonight, a lot of people flying through the air, a lot of people taking flights home early, but bringing it home third. Congrats.
Thank you.
Any shout outs for you?
Uh, Thank you to all of CCR and CDR for all these great people and turn down for what for this great series that they got going on.
All right, well, back to you, Rick.
Pete, you've got our silver medalist tonight.
Absolutely, Hunter Peach. I tell you what, P2, one hell of a finish between you and Zach Meredith, with huge props to the guys that were behind you. Jordan Bain finished back in P number 9. This points race is going to be phenomenal next week when we get to Thunder Valley. Congratulations on this W. What did you think, or what were you thinking when you were coming to the line?
Yeah, honestly, just want to give props to basically just Baritone and Braden and Bills for all just. We all came up with a good strategy, just pitting there with like lap 70 and just, like Braden said, just willing to work together to pretty much the last lap, like the truck race. Just don't take each other out and just try to keep the 1, 2, 3, 4 how it is. Just don't let no one else get a run. And Bills led us really good through that whole time, getting around every car, keeping them out of it. But congrats to him on getting the win. And sadly, I won't be there for Bristol. I got work, so I really wish I could make it, but I won't. And I hit the wall. Saw Bills in the bottom. I could have had him, but then just congrats to him. I kind of came up a little bit because I saw him coming up and then tapped the wall, and just big congrats to him, though.
Well, man, if you're going to miss Bristol, I think there was a rumor that old Boehner might be missing Bristol as well. I could be off on that. There's been so much conversation going on in the last several weeks. Congratulations on this P2. It will definitely help you in closing it up. Rick James, you've got one happy Bills fan on your hands.
We're going to put him on the back burner for just a few more seconds. Got to give a shout out to Terry Radford giving out 5 subscriptions in this chat. Appreciate you, Vols. Send my love to Mama Vols. And of course, none of this would be possible. Second most, none of this would be possible without the good folks over at di9 Designs, the Chase Elliott custom graphic design page on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at di9 Designs. They post graphics on all platforms multiple times a week on top of taking requests on all types of logos, Chase Elliott wallpapers, iRacing schemes, and more. Follow and DM them for more details. They are not affiliated with Hendrick Motorsports or Chase Elliott. Be sure to use code di9 Designs for free shipping on your diecast and merch orders over $20 on CircleBDiecast.com. And now the winner. Driver of the number 17 Nationwide Chevrolet with his first win this season, Zach Meredith. You are within 2 points of the top 3 headed next week into Bristol, and for the very first time this season, you've got a shiny gold medal around your neck.
Oh yeah. Whew. Man, you don't even understand how excited I am for that. I don't even know what to say.
Well, let me
I
ask you
honestly
this.
don't believe I won.
I can't believe you won, because according to the timing and scoring, Kurt's right. It was 2/1000ths of a second, and headed into those last 50 feet, Hunter Peach had the lead in that race. So headed next week into Bristol, Zach, 2 in a row. What do you think?
It's doable, but I just really hope it's not like tonight where there was just wrecks I have to dodge everywhere, because it was really hard to keep this thing clean. I still had my fast repair. I had no scratches on this entire car, so it's a little different when it comes to Bristol. It's a lot smaller, and if we had the same amount of people, It's gonna be wild.
We'll see next week. Maybe staying clean is the secret. Headed into next week, Zach, Jordan Bain leads the point standings by 4 points. It's 515 points at the top with Jordan Bain. Hunter Peach in second with 511. Matt Boone sits in third, 489. And then you're in fourth, 487 points to your name. You are 28 digits away from the points lead. If Jordan Bain does not show up to Bristol next week, do you have a chance to win this title?
It's going to be hard. Well, if he misses next week, that's really unfortunate. I mean, I would love to see him out there on track. I would hate to, possibly win a championship just because, the guy misses a race. But you never know what's going to happen. I'll try my best, qualify up front, run up front next week, and the championship week 2 weeks from now. So we'll see. Let's see what I can do.
We'll see indeed. For now, though, Zach, go celebrate your first win. Congratulations.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
Fans at home, that's going to do it for us tonight. A thrilling, fun event as only iRacing Superspeedway can produce. For my friends Kurt Swatsworth, Pete Ruzick, as always, such a pleasure to have you in the booth. Pete, Kurt, wonderful to have you in for the first time. We're going to do this again, believe you me. And of course, the most important reason that all of this is possible is because of you, the fans. Can't do this without you. We won't be able to do this Thursday night when we take the V8 Supercars to Darlington, or Sunday with the late models, or next week at Bristol. So please stay tuned in, subscribe, and let's enjoy some racing together. Until Thursday night, folks, everybody stay safe, do take care of each other, and we will see you all around